Welcome back. You're probably here because, well, you want to get those aha moments, right? To really get the core ideas without, feeling bogged down.
Exactly. And that's what we aim for, taking these sometimes pretty dense sources and just pulling out the absolute essence,
Mhm.
making it clear, insightful.
And today, we are diving deep into a really fascinating lecture by Neville Goddard. It's from May 25th, 1959, called The Cup and the Cross.
Yeah, we've gone through the material, specifically excerpts focusing on this lecture, to really hone in on what he was getting at.
So, our mission today, it's pretty straightforward. Unpack Neville's core ideas, imagination, reality, his view on the Bible, which is definitely not traditional.
hmm And we want to present it in a way that hopefully really clicks for you.
Okay, let's jump in. The big one first. Imagination creates reality.
This is really the bedrock of everything Goddard taught. Your imagination, it's not just like mental playtime. It's the actual creative force.
He says God and man are basically one thing, all imagination.
Right. Your inner world, your thoughts, feelings, beliefs.
Yeah.
That's what's projecting outwards is your life. You're literally building your reality from the inside.
But hang on, if we're all about imagination, why the differences? Why isn't everyone experiencing the same thing or, getting instant results?
Ah, good question. Goddard says it's not a difference in what we are, but the intensity.
Intensity.
Yeah, he calls it the degree of intensity of the operative center of imagining itself. Think of it like sunlight through a magnifying glass.
Okay.
Diffused light doesn't do much, but focus it, real intensity. You can start a fire.
Yeah.
That's the power of focused imagining.
So our everyday sort of scattered thoughts, that's low intensity.
Exactly, which is why things seem to take time to manifest. There's a delay because the focus isn't sharp enough, sustained enough, usually.
But he does offer some reassurance, doesn't he? He says something like, your imagined acts can't fail.
If we remember the act and remain faithful to that act. Yes, that's huge. It puts the power back in your hands.
It really is empowering. And he doubles down. A man can be what he wants to be in this world.
Which basically means your potential isn't limited by circumstance, only by what you can truly imagine and believe for yourself. You're not just reacting to life, you're directing it from within.
And underlying all this is the idea that fundamentally, no matter what you have done, you are one with God and you are all imagination. That creative core is always there.
Always. It's inherent.
Okay, so he establishes this power of imagination, then he turns to the Bible.
Right. And he makes a pretty bold claim. He says the Bible is completely misunderstood.
So,
He argues it's not history. It is a series of visions, which are acts of grace, revealing this great reality that men call God, which for him is imagination.
so not literal events, but symbolic stories about our inner power.
Precisely. Psychological drama, you could say.
He uses an example from Acts chapter 5, Peter saying, we must obey God and not man.
Yeah, and how that riled up the authorities. But then this figure, Gamaliel, steps in.
Right, the respected Pharisee teacher.
And Gamaliel basically says, hold on, let's not rush to condemn them. His advice is, look, if this teaching or this work be of men, it will come to naught.
It fizzle out on its own.
But if it be of God, you cannot overthrow it. You might even end up fighting God himself.
So Goddard uses this to show that biblical truths might operate symbolically, not just historically, which leads him to Jesus and the cup in Matthew 26.
The famous line, "O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt."
Usually seen as Jesus facing death,
Mhm.
right? Asking God to save him, but submitting.
That's the traditional view. But Goddard flips it. He says, the story is all about you. You are the being spoken of.
Whoa. So Jesus in the Gospels isn't just a historical figure.
Not primarily for Goddard. He's that presence in man, which is man's own wonderful imagination, the creative power within you.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. He also talks about opacity, God having to experience a kind of death.
It's a bit complex. Think of it like this. For us to have this human experience, for imagination to operate as human, it had to sort of forget its own divinity, lower its intensity, become opaque to its true nature.
Like getting lost in a dream.
Exactly. God, or imagination, dives fully into the human dream, temporarily forgetting it's the dreamer.
Right. And the cup, then, what does that represent?
He says cup means to imbibe, to drink fully, to accept completely. He links it to Jesus being called a wine bibber, someone who fully embraces experience.
Okay. And Gamaliel's name, that had significance too.
Yes, meaning to wean, symbolizing growing up spiritually, moving beyond old limiting beliefs, maturing.
Goddard even mentions a personal vision he had. Something about down with the blue bloods.
Right. But he clarifies it wasn't about social class. It was about tearing down fixed inherited beliefs, the traditional state of mind that limits us, those rigid ideas about who we are or what's possible.
So the whole Christ story for him isn't history, but
The story of revision happening now inside you.
how does that work practically, like day to day?
Well, think about when you see something you don't like, someone acting badly, a situation that seems negative. That's the cup being offered to you.
The unpleasant reality.
Yes. Do you just accept it? Or, as Goddard puts it, must I revise it and nail myself on the revised image?
Nail yourself, like crucifixion.
Exactly. He connects it to Galatians 2:2. I am crucified with Christ, yet not I, for Christ liveth in me. You have to die to the old perception, the negative appearance.
So witnessing something bad, the cup is the choice. Accept it or mentally revise it and hold on to that revised image.
Precisely. You have to fully imbibe the possibility of change. Yield completely to the revised image in your mind's eye, even if outer reality hasn't caught up yet. You drain the cup of the old way of seeing it.
So if I'm dealing with, say, a difficult colleague, instead of fuming, I'd imagine them being cooperative, pleasant, and just hold that image.
Yes. You nail yourself to that version of them. That's the inner crucifixion. It might feel like effort, like going against the grain of what is.
And this crucifixion leads to resurrection.
It must, Goddard insists. Otherwise, it's just tyranny, the negative state wins. Holding the revised image is planting the seed for its eventual appearance, its resurrection into your world.
And this isn't just for individuals. He talks about a collective awakening.
Yeah, he believed ultimately everyone awakens. No one's lost. And we'll reach a point where we collectively take every being and take the ideal of that being and nail ourselves to that imagined state so that it will be done. We lift each other up in imagination.
Wow. So this cup isn't ancient history. It's offered to us now.
Tonight, as he puts it. The choice is always now. Revise for yourself, revise for others.
He wasn't big on just, like, religious rituals, was he?
No, he felt that missed the point. He advocated for this sort of forgiveness.
And forgiveness for him meant
Identify the other with the ideal that he has failed to realize. See them not as they are, or were, but as the best version of themselves you can conceive.
and sticking with that revised image is the forgiveness, and that's what makes it real.
To the degree you are faithful to it, yes. That's the mechanism.
He really emphasizes our interconnectedness, too. Everyone's immortal, part of the whole.
Scattered over all my Father's visible and invisible universe. In imagination, we can resurrect anyone by seeing their ideal, and they, awakening, do the same for us. Not one can be left behind.
And Golgotha, the skull, that's not a place.
It's in your skull, the place of inner crucifixion, where you let go of the old limits. He even says the measure of your awakening is your ability to awaken others within you.
So look past the nightmare, the mistakes people make.
See them as God sees them perfect. Strip away the veils of appearance in your own mind.
And this applies to everything: job, home, money, health.
Absolutely. You're citizens of heaven, entitled to imagine and receive your desires because your true nature is limitless potential.
Hence, down with the blue bloods, again, reject any idea of fixed status or unworthiness.
Every single person is God made visible. Skin color, background irrelevant to their divine core.
He brings back Gamaliel's point, too.
Right. If this teaching is just human invention, it'll fade. If it's of God, if it's based on a true principle of reality, you can't stop it. Test it yourself, he implies.
And he says you can test it. With revision, take someone difficult.
Even an incorrigible child, and consistently see them differently in your imagination. Revision is the most practical thing in the world, he insists.
He mentions the unjust steward parable, too, as another example of revision.
Yes, creatively rearranging things mentally to produce a desired outcome. It's all about the inner work.
Okay, this leads to something really wild.
Yeah.
His view on time and the past.
Yeah, psychology often says the past is gone, only as memory affects us now.
But Goddard disagrees.
Strongly. He says the past has not ceased to be at all. It's still there in imagination.
You can change it.
You can revise it. Go back in your mind to a past event. Reimagine it vividly as you wish it had happened. Feel it real.
And that changes the present.
According to him, yes. Because it changes the memory, the inner state from which the present flows. If you change the cause in imagination, the effect in your world must change.
Even mistakes. Things you regret.
Go back, revise the incident, feel the relief, the different outcome, persist in that, and the present consequences shift.
Okay.
Yeah, really reframes everything, which fits with his next big statement. God became man, and he is in every being.
Not just Jesus, but everyone.
Every child born of woman is God, and that which became man is Christ Jesus. The divine potential is universal.
Being human, then, is like the cross of man, a limitation, a tomb.
A state of forgetting our true nature. He quotes William Blake here.
Oh, yeah.
God himself enters death's door with them who enter it, and lies down in the grave with them in visions of eternity until they awaken. God is with us, in us, even when we feel most limited or lost.
Constant presence.
Yeah.
An awakening comes.
By doing for others what God did for us, lifting them up in our imagination, seeing their ideal, living as if it's true for them.
Man saves himself by and only by the saving of his fellow man.
And saving here means seeing their perfection. When you lift up the world in your mind's eye, you're lifting up the eye of God within yourself. You're awakening your own divine vision.
Which connects to non-judgment, right? Unconditional love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He says, give people what they ask for in your imagination. Don't judge their desires.
Just assume they have it.
Persuade yourself that he has it. Feel the reality of their wish fulfilled for them. That's the gift. No expectation of thanks or reward needed.
And avoid condemnation, because everyone's just in different states.
Different perspectives, different levels of awareness within the dream. Your job isn't to judge the state they're in, but to see them in their ideal state, their perfected self.
And that act of seeing
is opening up the eye of God within you. It's aligning your perception with the divine. The gospel isn't about ancient history. It's about how Christ consciousness awakens now in you. And you embody it by loving and lifting others mentally.
He shared a really powerful personal experience related to this, didn't he? On a freighter.
Yes, an incredible out-of-body experience. He described being in a twilight state, feeling himself radiating light.
And hearing a choir.
A heavenly chorus singing, "He is risen." And he knew it meant him. His own consciousness expanding, awakening.
Then he saw something else.
A vast sea of sick and malformed beings, just countless figures suffering.
And what happened?
As he simply looked at them, not with pity, but just beholding them as perfect, they transformed instantly, became perfect in his vision.
Wow. Just by how he perceived them.
Exactly. Then he heard, "It is finished," and snapped back into his body.
The implication being
that raising others within your own consciousness, seeing their perfection, actually affects their perfection on some fundamental level. It's not just wishful thinking.
And he felt this total oneness.
Yes. There is only God, no separation, no strangers. And the whole point of God becoming man.
That man awakening may become God. Realizing our own divine imaginative power. He also touched on John 17 briefly.
Mentioning the glory before the world. The idea of something being lost, the son of perdition, which needs to be regained through this process, reinforcing the interconnectedness of everyone in God.
Okay, so that covers a lot of ground. But there's a practical question people always have. After you do the imagining, the revision, what then? Do you need to do stuff in the world?
Ah, yes. The action question, Goddard's take, is that the realized inner vision, the one you truly accept as fact within, it compels the necessary actions. Or it orchestrates events. He compares it to pregnancy.
How so?
An unborn child grows according to its own inner timing and eventually prompts the birth process. You don't consciously micromanage cell division. The inner vision, once fully formed and accepted, is like that unborn child. It will find its way out.
So the inner conviction creates pressures that lead to the outer manifestation.
Exactly. The feeling, the knowing within is the primary cause. The outer world rearranges itself accordingly. Trust the inner work.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways. Imagination is the creator.
Definitely. And the Bible can be read as a symbolic guide to using that power.
Revision is crucial, changing how you see things internally, especially forgiving by seeing the ideal in others.
And remembering that divine spark, that God potential is in everyone. You can even revise the past in your imagination.
And this cup, this choice to revise reality, it's not theoretical. It's right here, right now, for you, the listener.
It's always a present opportunity.
So maybe a final thought to leave people with.
How about this? Think of one person or one situation, just one, that feels off or negative in your life right now.
Okay.
What would it look like, ideally? And what if, just as an experiment, you started to truly nail yourself to that revised image in your imagination, starting today?
Just hold that ideal vision faithfully.
Yeah. What might begin to shift? That's the experiment Goddard invites you to conduct in the laboratory of your own mind.
A powerful invitation indeed. Thanks for diving deep into this with us today.
My pleasure. Lots to think about there.